was the 1980s, an astounding decade of development for the human race. Home computers were being implemented, music and TV shows were reaching unforeseen levels of popularity, but more importantly, the green movement and environmentalism began to become more mainstream per se. This movement began to catch the attention of the media, and larger scale groups continued to form in order to protect the environment. Back then, the focus was more on trash and toxic waste rather than global warming as it is nowadays. Yet the movement was making great strides, leading it to what it has become currently. Despite all this publicity towards saving our environment, the urge to do so didn't become too apparent until a certain catastrophe took place. April 26, 1986. The Chernobyl disaster. The Chernobyl disaster took place in the Ukrainian city of Pripyat. To date, it is considered the worst nuclear disaster and was caused by one of the only two nuclear energy accidents rated at 7, which is the maximum severity on the International Nuclear Event Scale. This accident started during a safety test of the plant's reactor number 4, and during this test, the reactor core seemed to overheat. After multiple tests, the operators changed shifts, and on the 4th attempt, an unprepared operator was on duty. Although they tried to decrease the reactor's power, it seemed to have gone too far, which put it in an unstable condition. Upon test completion, the operators triggered a reactor shutdown, but a combination of unstable conditions and reactor design flaws caused an uncontrolled nuclear chain reaction instead. Given this overflow of energy, a steam explosion was generated, releasing airborne radioactive contamination which precipitated onto parts of the USSR and Western Europe for about 9 days. 49,000 people had to evacuate from Pripyat, and a further 68,000 from the wider area. These drastic doses of ionizing radiation proved to be harmful and either killed those who were exposed to it in a matter of months or increased the rates of illnesses such as different types of cancer and other cardiovascular diseases. The ghastly images on screen are the product of this radiation, of this catastrophe. A byproduct of the Chernobyl disaster was the creation of the Montreal Protocol, which phases down the consumption and production of 100 different man-made chemicals referred to as ozone-depleting substances. These are chemicals that damage the Earth's stratospheric ozone layer, our protective shield from ultraviolet radiation if you may. Until now, this has been the only UN treaty to be ratified by all 197 UN member states, every country on Earth. The protocol includes provisions related to control measures, calculation of control measures, control of trade, special situation of developing countries, reporting of data, non-compliance, and technical assistance, among others. Despite this being a horrid occurrence, mankind learned more about itself than it would have ever imagined. People who previously neglected the urgency of protecting the environment could no longer deny the truth, and by seeing so many atrocities and pain in images such as these, they began to devote more importance to the health of our species as well as our ecosystems. Chernobyl was and forever will be a hallmark of human history, a lesson to learn from. To this day, documentaries are being made exploring the effects of Chernobyl. The Montreal Protocol still stands, and in doing so, more and more individuals have been influenced into seeing the power we hold in our hands.